Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Courtney. I go by Courtney on Posh on all platforms. And today I have my friend Christina with me. Christina, where can we find you?
Hi, so you can find me on Instagram and on Poshmark. My closet name or my handle is cdeans_closet.
Love that. And I'm going to link it below because the spelling is a little interesting. So you'll just have that quick click to be able to find her. And tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, so I started a podcast called Pashing Together, and I started that about 3 months ago. Basically, I've been getting a lot of questions on Instagram, and I thought I'm going to use my teacher skills to make a podcast that does a bit of a brain dump of how to get started poshing. Here's reseller tips. Here's things I've learned. So it really is my journey and things that I've been pulling in from that to help others.
I love that. And so you started that 3 months ago. How long have you been reselling for?
So I actually started reselling last summer, June, July. It was my first summer off as a teacher, and naturally I got bored and I picked up poshing.
How did you just stumble across it, or?
Yeah, so I think I was seeing girls just from my college. So some people know Haley's Hanger. Her and I went to the same college together, and I saw on my Instagram, like, hey, I sell clothes. And I'm like, what? Like, what does that mean? And so through Instagram, I was able to find that others, like there's this whole community that does it. And I was hooked. I jumped in.
I love that. Before I dive into these other questions I want to ask you, with talking about Instagram, how do you feel that Instagram has impacted your reselling business? Because I noticed that you have a Instagram that's solely dedicated to Poshmark.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I started out using my personal Instagram at first, saying like, hey, here's my clothes. And then I just kind of in my heart felt that I want to shift and take that vulnerable step into making an Instagram solely for poshing. And I think how it's changed my perspective is I've been able to connect with other poshers, and it actually makes me feel like I have coworkers, which is something that I don't feel on the app. But Instagram has made me feel like I have this community where I get to learn from others and share my experience. And it's just been really insightful for me.
I feel exactly the same way about Instagram in that aspect. So going back to Poshmark, is it your only platform or do you sell on several platforms?
So Poshmark is like 98% of what I do. I have maybe 4 things listed on Mercari, and I have 1 thing listed on eBay. I've dipped my toe a little bit, but as a part-time, like I do this part-time, it's hard to try a lot of new things. Poshmark is so comfortable for me and it is fruitful. But
so because you're a fellow educator, are you like me where you are part-time during the school year and full-time during the summers?
honestly, yeah, like I have been so excited this whole year. Like I'm part-time posher that in the summer, like I can do this full-time. And fingers crossed we have a summer. Like that'll look really interesting with how things have changed, but that's what I was doing last summer, which was really awesome being full-time in that.
What is one thing you can do during full-time that you can't do during part-time that you miss?
Oh my goodness, you can source every day.
Yeah. I would say that.
Like you can wake up when you want and you can go, like you're your own boss, whereas teaching, you're the boss of a lot of students and you have meetings to go to and whatnot.
Absolutely. When you're outsourcing, what is the first section that you're going to hit in that thrift store?
I love tops.
What brands are you looking for?
I have really memorized Free People brand and I see it in my sleep. So that's one that I'm usually on the lookout for, is anything Free People. I venture into Anthropology and some bigger luxury brands, but I am still learning what they all look like and like there is so much out there that that's kind of what I'm looking for.
How do you go about doing the research to find the brands?
Originally, I spent a lot of time looking up articles, but there's just a hodgepodge of stuff that's a bit older when you look at articles. And I found that through Instagram, there's YouTubers. Like I know you at times will share about brands, and I love how YouTube people are talking about it. And they're even showing like, hey, this is a brand you should be on the lookout for. So that's been a platform that I've loved looking into.
Absolutely. Are there any brands that you started picking up and then now there's just no way you're going to pick those up again?
Honestly, as I mentioned, Anthro, like how I've been trying to find anthropology brands, I feel like specifically maybe Moth. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I was so pumped when I found it, listed it, nothing happened. Picked it up again, like those same things kept happening that even though I see other resellers might love it and it works, I noticed for me, I need to do deeper research within popular brands as well.
I full-heartedly agree with that. I'm sure you know classrooms get cold. So a lot of my wardrobe is Moth, my personal wardrobe, because they just have the best chunky sweaters. I can't get them to move. I decided to clear out my personal closet, and all my Moth pieces are the pieces that are still sitting there.
I feel good hearing that I'm not alone and I'm not like a crazy person, that I'm like, I don't know if I'll pick it up again.
Yeah. What was the biggest piece of advice that you wish you didn't hear when you first got started?
So I think when I first got started, at least in the app, it feels like there's a lot of sharing and following that happens. And I think I went down this rabbit trail of following so many people and believing that if I have a lot of followers, it's just like social media, like it benefits you, you should follow everyone back. And I wasted so much time. It's great to have it be social, but I wasn't sharing my own closet. I was so focused on numbers of followers, which that didn't result in any sales. And it just resulted in a lot of wasted time for me.
How often do you share your personal closet?
So my husband and I actually both share my closet. He's kind of my virtual assistant. That's how he helps out. He has the app and he loves clicking buttons and I don't. We aim for about 2 to 3 times a day minimum. With being at home now, we can do it a bit more often because we're like, oh, we're on our phone and it's a lunch break. Let's share the closet.
I love that. And going back to things that you wish you would have changed, she actually has an entire 2 podcast episodes just about what she would have changed. So in just a quick synopsis, what would you tell your old self if you could go back and talk to your old self?
I would honestly say, Christina, you need to really figure out what's the most efficient use of your time for this app. Like, how can you plug in the maximum amount of quality work to actually have results, not just spend pointless time, like looking at all your notifications and look like that doesn't matter. Quit wasting your time. That's the feedback I give.
Do you have all of the notifications turned on your phone? Do you? Yeah, neither do I. I learned very quickly that those will go off all day long.
And it is a bummer. It'd be great.
So when it comes to listing your items, what do you think is the most important part of a listing?
I think it's the title. I think maximizing the title space. It's absolutely important for me to know the name of the item so that I'm really catching, like, here's the brand, here's the exact item name, like how you'd find it in a store, so that it's not just saying, here's a cute sweater, but like, here's a cute turtleneck sweater from Target. It's white, it's this size, and really maximizing on keywords. I found that's the most fruitful part for me and the most important part in a listing.
How long do you take searching for a style name before you give up and just use descriptive words?
It's hard because I don't like quitting. And honestly, like, I've never sat down and timed myself on it, but I will dig and I'll maybe dig on another day. Like, I'll keep trying and digging. But there are things in my closet that I'm like, I don't know. This is black. It's a cardigan. I don't know what else I can say about it.
If someone is just getting started, how is the best way to go about finding those style names? What's your process?
My process is, I love Google with my whole heart. And I will go to Google, and if I know the brand, I start with the brand, and I start with a few keywords. I don't want to overwhelm the search because the search is already kind of a lot. Then if that sometimes can be overwhelming, it's not very fruitful, I will go and try to find it through Poshmark. I've been getting a lot better at, okay, here's the brand, here's maybe how I would describe it. Like this is floral, or this has this special thing about it. And that at times will give me the exact item. Like I'll see the image of it and go, yep, perfect. This is exactly what I should be calling it. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people are still calling it the wrong thing. And I'm like, well, I don't know.
I definitely see that on the app all the time where I know it's something that it's not. That's so funny. When it comes to photographs, are you a flat lay, hanger, or a mannequin kind of girl?
I love that question. I am mostly a hanger person, and my apartment only has gray walls. So I've been really toying with using a hanger and using apps to make a white background. Sometimes I'll add a prop, but I change my mind a lot. So it'll kind of change every couple weeks if you ever look at my listings.
I feel that. When I first started on Poshmark, it was my carpet. Then I had a pink backdrop. Then I had my studio lights because I used to be a photographer. Then it was the floor again, white background. Now I'm modeling images. Who knows?
You know what's next?
I feel you. If there was one thing you dislike about Poshmark in the process from thrifting all the way to making a sale, what do you dislike the most?
This is something I've really been having to focus on, is slow burn items. Like I have great brands that are getting likes in my closet, but sometimes I have to wait weeks or months for them to sell. And I think wrestling with not feeling discouraged, rather knowing sometimes a store takes a while to sell something too. Like that is okay. And just being okay with waiting on a really good thing and knowing it'll sell. It just takes time.
We all of us, I feel, have a difficulty with that because it's really hard to put an investment into something and then you're waiting and waiting for that investment to turn around on itself. So I definitely feel you with that. What about the opposite? What's your favorite part of the process?
I think my favorite part is honestly the return shoppers that I've been able to get connected with, and like we'll follow each other on Instagram and I get to see a glimpse into their life and we'll chat about things that go so much further than clothes. That just, because I love people, that just gives me so much joy that it's not like I'm a robot selling clothes to other robots. It feels so much more personal. So I love that aspect of it.
I love that. What advice would you give to someone who is trying to create that kind of atmosphere where they're able to create return buyers?
So something I think I've shared on my podcast is I saw that some people will comment on a bundle after someone's bought something. So what I've started doing is I'll comment on a bundle saying like, thanks for your awesome review. I would love to connect with you. Here's my Instagram handle. So if you feel comfortable giving your handle or however else you connect, and then often people are like, yeah, like let's be friends. And that's been a way that I've been able to do that from Poshmark to Instagram.
So when you leave that comment on the bundle, do you ever have anxiety that someone's going to see from your Instagram that you're making a profit on these items? Does that ever pop into your head?
No, this is my business. I don't see other businesses ever feeling uncomfortable with like, and so I don't feel a sense of any anxiety about it. I'm very open. Like, this is what I do. Here is what we use like, this is how we use this to help with our debt. Like, there's so much transparency on that. So I've never felt much anxiety about it.
I love that. Closets. Who are 3 people in your community that you just have to highlight? Who should we be following?
So I am going to highlight, honestly, these are more of like local, true, genuine friends of mine that are Pashers, and wrote down their names and their handles so I don't forget them. The first is a friend I studied abroad with. Her name is Sarah. She goes by S. Gage's Closet. She is like, her following's not super big or anything, but she's just genuine and awesome and kind. You need that in your life. You need that on your feed. Then another friend, her name's Vicky, and I think it's Victoria Manchim. Sorry, Vicky. It's her personal and her Poshmark Instagram, so it's a little bit of both. Her and I are both Russian. Like, that's how we got connected, and we both live in Minnesota. So it's been fun. We've gone thrifting together, and it's just so wholesome to have an in-person coworker. And then another friend I've never met, but her name is Kelsey. She is not a capsule on Instagram, and she is just such a light. Like, it's just so fun talking about each other's stories and Pashing and just sharing advice and tips. Just all these ladies, I can text them about Poshmark questions and whatnot, and they just fill me up. Like, I just love having them in my life and on my Instagram.
I love that. Thanks for sharing a little piece of your community. I'm going to link all 3 of them down below so that everyone can easily access them, because I think it's so important to support people who are lights like that. Also, you talked about it a little bit. Let's talk about your husband and how he supports you, because I'm sure he's a PFF too.
Oh, yeah. So it all kind of started like this past summer is when we got married and when I started this Poshmark thing. And he was like, oh, like, you can sell your clothes? Can you sell my clothes? And it was just kind of fun to purge our closets together. And now how much that's changed, how he has the app too. And in our dream world, we'd both love to go sourcing out together. Like, he can pick up men's stuff. I can pick up stuff that I know is popular in the women's section. And it's just really fun to happy dance together when we get a sale. Like, he usually knows before I do, because he probably has his notifications on. But it's just been such a blessing that he's so supportive, instead of any sort of tension or like, why are you dedicating so much time to this? He's like, hey, you should list more of your things. And I'm like, you're right, that money pile should get listed.
Christina, thank you so much for jumping on this video today. It has been so insightful to see into your process and your life with Poshmark. I'm going to leave her handle down below so you guys can check out her Poshmark and her podcast. Please go look at her podcast. It's been so insightful. Have a great day, guys, and have a great day, Christina.
Thank you.